it's great for the fans.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I like hearing those stories. Well,
Yeah, fantastic.
hmm and
Fantastic.
yeah, no, it is, um, and stories like that are good. Even if it's not you're not a fan of that team. That's the way I see it. It just shows
Sure.
how it can be done and how it's done right and how it's done well. Well, if maybe we can shift gears a little bit. You've talked a little bit about the history of the team. Well, tell me a little bit about the town, Chelmsford. This is kind of the part that I get enthused about. Um, let's say I'm traveling. Well, let's say I'm going to the game on Saturday. Um, can you make any recommendations for pubs, sightseeing? Uh, you know,
Definitely.
yeah.
I mean, Chelmsford's got its fair share of places to go. It's no Las Vegas. I don't think anyone locally will tell you it's got any massive historical significance. Chelmsford, the town itself, it's largely seen as a commuter town for people into London. The population of Chelmsford has grown considerably over the last couple of decades, and a lot of people have set up families quite recently. In terms of actual landmarks, there's not a great deal, although Chelmsford is the birthplace of radio. Guglielmo Marconi, I think is his name, very well-known worldwide person. I think the first ever radio broadcast was done in Chelmsford, and that's something that the town's very proud of. I say town, it's county town, although there is a football team called Chelmsford City playing in it, we are still officially a town. Every chance that we get to go for city status, we certainly go for that, hammer and tongs, and I know there's another one coming up soon to go in 2012, another attempt to be city. Chelmsford City so-called football club is because there is in fact a cathedral in Chelmsford, and it's just opposite the Golden Fleece pub, where the club was formed. It's quite widely believed that when the club was being formed and all the paperwork was signed to create Chelmsford City Football Club, they didn't decide on a name until they'd finished their meeting. The guys in charge came out of the Golden Fleece pub, saw the cathedral in front of them, and just presumed that Chelmsford was a city. So Chelmsford City sounded quite well, rolled off the tongue, so we've been called that ever since, and occasionally been ridiculed for it due to the fact we're not actually a city. But Chelmsford, other major things about Chelmsford perhaps is the V Festival, which happens each year, which brings in a lot of international stars to our Highlands Park. It's a massive music festival, brings in tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of people over one weekend each year. But if you're looking for something to do on a match day, there's plenty of traditional pubs in and around the train station and in and around the actual ground itself. Just adjacent to the train station is the original Plough, which has recently been refurbished. The train station is actually on Duke Street, which is one of the more alcohol-based streets in Chelmsford. Lots of pubs and various bars and things, and that leads on to the High Street, which is just a short walk from the train station, which has got, again, all different kinds of different foods and bars, including the Wetherspoons for anyone that likes that sort of thing. So there's plenty to do if you get to the ground or get to Chelmsford. The ground's a little way from the town centre, but it's well served by buses, the 54 and 56 in particular, and also the 47 if you just happen to find one going past you. Otherwise, if you're coming on the train and you want to get up to the ground straight away, I'd recommend getting in a taxi. A taxi would probably be around between £5 and £10 to the ground, but it will get you there in about 10 minutes, I'd say. It's a reasonable walk if you know where you're going. There's some fairly direct ways of getting there. But I'd say if you don't know where you're going and you want to walk from the station, it could take you about 30 or 40 minutes. So if you're new to the area, I'd recommend jumping in a taxi. Up and around the ground, the area of Chelmsford that the ground is situated in Melbourne is sort of a very well built up housing sort of area. There's a nice green field nearby. If we'd have been playing in April and the weather might have been a bit better, I'd recommend a picnic, but perhaps not this weekend when the weather's a little bit sketchy, to say the least. But there's some decent pubs near the ground. The Red Lion is not far away. The Red Beret, sorry, not the Red Lion. The Red Beret is just at the end of Salerno Way. But I think if you're looking for a beer, you'd probably best serve actually wandering into town before making it up to the ground, and then obviously having a beer or two in the clubhouse, which is got ample facilities, nice and big, decent screens for watching football if there's any live football on before. And so that's Chelmsford.
Well, Chris, thank you. Wow, that's a very nice roundup. I mean, I have a feeling that the way that the season is going, that F-Split and Chelmsford might meet after these two games. So yeah, it's going to be a horse race all the way to the end. Chris, thank you so much. And do you have any questions for me? Just
Do I have any questions for you? I do, actually.
Okay.
I did sort of wonder how Ebbsfleet are getting on, because the last time I saw Chelmsford play against Ebbsfleet, other than a friendly and I think of an FA Cup game, was quite some time ago, in an actual competitive game when they were actually Gravesend. And how's the whole My Football Club thing going? Because I think there was a lot of publicity with it to start with, but I've not really heard much about it since. Is the structure of the club all safe and sound and working well?
Well, it's sort of been on a on a kind of a downward slope, and we're still trying to find our level. So we started off with a bang, as you know, 31,000. Now we just had renewals, and it wasn't quite what we wanted. We're hoping to be around 2,000. Being optimistic here, I think the one thing that's been the constant at the club has been the coach, Liam Daish, because he's had to build sides from nothing, I guess 2 or 3 seasons in a row, and he's just done an excellent job. I mean, we're fourth place. I'm looking at the standings. We're fourth place. We had a great FA Cup run.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of, we're moving along. We'd like to get the finances a bit better. We'd like to have some more consistency.
Yeah, sure.
With the renewals. But other than that, it has been great football, on the field. So, we're trying to move along, and the thing about my football club is that there was no sort of organization or instructions on how to do this. So everybody's learning. Myself, the board members, the rest of the members. So we're all trying to figure out how this thing works.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
On the field, things seem to be going quite well. I mean, I know whenever the results are coming through, I know the Chelmsford fans are always interested in what your result is, because there was a little patch grow at the top of the table who are all capable of potentially upsetting Braintree, and I think Chelmsford and Ebbsfleet are both two of those. I think on the field things maybe started a little bit slowly for you, but I think you've progressed there, haven't you?
No, that's right. We did. We had a long stretch. We had about 15 or 16 game, really unbeaten streak, and at that point, we could have played anybody in non-league and been competitive. So then, of course, you have the match congestion. You have the bad weather around Christmas time. Then players get injured. So we don't have that consistency. But the coach kind of pulled us through it. We got killed. We lost to Braintree and also Farnborough. But then the team bounced back, and it's competitive. It's very competitive.
Yeah, sure. And yourself, your media involvement with the club, what sort of stuff do you have to do for Ebbsfleet in your weekly schedule?
Well, so I just picked up the podcast. This was something that was done by a couple of other guys, and then I just I wanted to do it, and there wasn't really anybody else to do it, so I kind of learned it from the learned it from scratch. And I most of my shows in the past were with Charles Webster, broadcaster for the BBC. And so we would just do, he would talk about the team, upcoming fixture, what's going on. And then he took a break, and so what I'm doing is I'm just sort of interviewing players, interviewing opposing teams. That's sort of something that I've enjoyed.
Mm.
Here in America, I follow baseball a lot, and one of the
Yeah.
things that they do before the broadcast is they talk to the opposing team, they talk to the players, and again, then get a feel for what the other team is going through, and I think it just creates a nice sense of balance,
Yeah,
healthy
sure.
competitiveness, and that's sort of what I'm doing now.
Great stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So your next podcast, when's that likely to come out? I'll either see if I can direct some Chelmsford fans towards it and we can get you a few extra listeners.
Well, I'm going to send you a link, and I'll put it up obviously before Saturday's match, and I'll put a link to the Chelmsford website, directions, and all of that. So.
Fantastic. Yeah, I look forward to that. As soon as your link comes through, I'll flag that to amongst the Chelmsford fans. So I'm sure they'll be very impressed because I don't think any other club does anything like that. So, that'd be fantastic.
Well, great. Well, thank you. I mean, thank you for being part of it, for making it. So, all right, Chris. Well, good luck to you Saturday. Good luck to Chelmsford for the rest of the season. I mean, we're competing, but still, good luck. And say hi to the number one fan. The number one
Caroline.
Fan. Yes, Caroline.
I'll make a point of telling her I've spoken to you. Yeah, and also we've also got to play each other again before the end of the season. Anything else from City? We can certainly arrange anything when we come to your place. So yeah, it's been great talking to you, mate.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
Thanks, mate. See you soon.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Now the highlights. It was a little match last Wednesday at Lewis. We won 3-0 and are now in second place behind Braintree. 2 goals by Ashley Carew and 1 by Callum Willock sealed the deal. It's off tomorrow to Chelmsford and a very tough match. Comings and goings. Well, we have to say goodbye to Joe Hagan and hello to Jacob Erskine. Good luck, Joe, and let's hope you get some first team work. You can read about this on the Ebbsfleet website and the My Football Club website. As for the ladies, they keep fighting on. Unfortunately, they lost to Ipswich Town 2-0 at home. Now, last Sunday's match at Luton Town was postponed. I believe the ladies face Old Actonians this Sunday, which should put them back on track. Although both teams have 16 points, they are 9th and 10th, respectively, out of 12 teams. Keep on fighting, ladies. And here are the websites. myfootballclub.co.uk for all your My Football Club news. ebbsfleetunited.co.uk for all your Ebbsfleet news. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/myfootballclub and on Twitter at twitter.com/myfootballclub. MyFC merchandise, myfootballclub.bigcartel.com, and adopt a player, myfootballclub.co.uk, adopt a player. We still have the 30-day free trial, myfctrial.com, and don't forget, if you haven't renewed, you can still renew. Still support MyFC, still a member. Until next time, this is your humble narrator signing off. Up the Fleet.
When I want you in my arms, when I want you and all your charms, whenever I want you, all I have to do is dream, 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 dream. When I feel blue in the night, when I want you to hold me tight, whenever I want you, time, night or day. Only trouble is, gee whiz, I'm dreaming my life away. I need you so that I could die. I love you so, and that is why whenever I want you, all I have to do is dream.